Good morning, everybody. This is April 20th embodiment recording. Hope everybody's had a very good week. I think we've had a very good week. We're getting ready over this next few days to wrap up China and head to Japan. So next week, actually not next week, but in a bit, we'll inform you as to how we're doing. So what is embodiment? It's a green tea. It's part of this series of green teas. Where is it from? Anhui Province. Oh no, a third one from Anhui Province? I wonder if it'll taste the same as either of the other two. I wonder if it'll look the same as either of the other two. Well, we're about to see in a minute whether that's true or not. In fact, the process of this tea, this green tea, is different. The location is different. So the last 2 weeks, swanky and dazzling 100 miles of each other. Embodiment is about 300 miles away. So we're getting some distance. Oh, and it's going to the east of where we were the last couple of weeks. Beautiful forested area. The tea itself undergoes an unusual process. So it's picked like all green teas. It then is actually withered slightly, which is a little bit unusual. And then it goes through a very complex frying and rolling, 2 sets of regimens. And they're delicate. The temperature is different. It's lower than normal or other. There is no such thing as normal as other green teas. This we can call unique. And it's rolled into the shape of a ball. In fact, if you weren't paying attention, you could casually look at this and say, oh, iron glass light. That is if you weren't paying attention. You're the 99ers, so you always pay attention, and you would look and say, oh, somebody's trying to trick me. This is actually a green tea, and it is a green tea. They do at the very end do a little bit of baking, but the key difference with this tea is the stir frying and the rolling, shaping. Stir fry and rolling twice. And in between there, they discard leaves that they don't want, that aren't good enough. They don't meet standard. A bud and a leaf, sometimes a bud and 2 leaves. So I ask you this. Is this tea related to any other processing methodology? And the answer would be yes. So prior to red tea, prior to oolong tea, monks were experimenting in Anhui, and they had something called sun luo tea. Don't worry about the name, that's not important. But what it meant was that they were experimenting with a little roasting. And so already at that time, you had also experimenting with shaping. So there is some relationship to that. And that experimentation was sometime during the Ming Dynasty, early Ming Dynasty. So there is this lineage that goes back to that. So I'm excited to try this. And I'm excited to get out my notes from the last 2 weeks. Since this looks different, and since it's 300 plus miles away, I wonder if this tastes a little different. Well, in order to discover that, we need a tea master. And not just any tea master. We need a beautiful, numinous tea master to demonstrate how to brew this. And remembering, we're only demonstrating and you're following along right away. We're not going to go through a second demonstration. So without further ado, Biju.
Okay, yes. So this also is Anhui tea, but it's special, the process, this is called embodiment. So yeah, same usual, I take the 175, this will be water. So first step.
So while she's doing this, let me add a couple other factoids. The making of this tea almost went extinct. So pre-1949, it basically came to a stop. Post-1949, they revived the tea. In early versions of these tea were sent as gifts to Mao. And in 1979, Deng Xiaoping drank this tea.
Oh,
And he said,
yes.
oh my goodness,
Yes.
this is as good as Dragon Well and Yellow Mountain Resort. This is good tea. So it got a huge endorsement.
How did you guys first learn about this tea?
Oh, that's a great question. When we were traveling in Anhui, and this had to be about 2007, we heard about a green tea that was in a ball shape. And at first I thought, okay, somebody's pulling my leg. And so the next year we went to Anhui, we checked, and we actually found a farm that did it this way. And after we found the farm and tasted, it's like, okay, over time, we're going to get this thing. And then last year, for the first time, we were actually able to, the year before last, I'm sorry, the first time we were able to bring it in. Okay, so this is a 5-gram, 3-minute steep. And you notice the shape of these, it really is a ball. It's kind of pretty. And it's certainly very different than most of the green teas you will have experienced.
So it looks like each individual leaf has been rolled into this knot.
Yeah, and so when you say individual leaf, let me further define that. It's a bud and a leaf. Yes, so each individual set has been rolled into this ball, into this knot. And this process is complicated. It is not easy to do. And that's one of the reasons that only a few farmers were doing this. And that's one of the reasons it almost went extinct, because not widely done this way. Hard to do. You have to take extra time. You've got to fry it twice. You have to use a different temperature profile than you normally would. And by the way, this area where this comes from is an area that's very fertile in experimentation, because there are some yellow teas that arose from this area as well. So lots of things going on from the tea perspective. And what we found over the years is when you get one unique tea going, usually other farmers in the same area are starting to experiment. And a good example of that, of course, is Premier's Choice, where they don't include any buds, and they have this very long roasting process, long and complicated, and in the same general area, Wong's Creation, where they hybridize this enormous leaf. So, and the Wui Mountains also are representative of that, where you have one style of cliff tea that's becomes very popular, and then you have other styles, and then it morphs into experiments and hybridization with red teas, with white teas in Fujian province. It's just really, really interesting. As soon as you get farmers looking over the fence, the so-called fence, and seeing, hey, they're doing something different, you then see that seems to stimulate the creative juices. And I think that that's what happened in this area as well. 3 minutes is concluded. And you can actually get a number of steeps from this tea. All right. So take a look. This is the color of this. Wow. This is different. So we're going to enter the quality arena with this. Small sip, 170 degree. This is, for me, astringency at the very tip of the tongue. A little bit different than the last two. Well, this is a heavier aftertaste. That's unexpected. Energetics. I'm feeling energy, a flow of energy. Let's see how I'm dealing with aroma and taste. Oh, good thing I took a second sip, because my initial sip, some of this escaped me. And the main thing that escaped me is a slight hint of floralness in this tea that's unexpected. Let me do a little bit more experimentation, because not only floralness, but oh, it's both floral and umami. It's light floral and umami. Just a lot seems to be going on in this green tea, as opposed to the last two, which seemed more centered. By centered, I don't mean balanced. Instead, what I really mean is you didn't seem to have so many different flavors going on at the same time. All right, this is for you all to explore, to take good notes on, and then when we come back, I would be very willing to go through explorations with you and discussions with you about these teas. These were all from Anhui Province. We chose these three from Anhui on purpose to show you breadth of possibility, to show you some things you probably haven't seen before, including the ball shape for really a green tea, and to get you focused on, you had an altitude tea with dazzling, you had one with less altitude, but more forward and tunshi, and then you have this, which has all sorts of things seeming to happen at the same time. Your responsibility this week, same as usual, stay healthy. Can't wait to see everybody next week. By the time we see you, we'll be in Japan. Y'all take care now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.